girl. The devil is a female. I want to make this as short as possible. But yeah, the devil, Lucy, satana, whatever you want to call her, the whore of Babylon, she's a bitch. Actually, my fault. That's kind of an insult to female dogs. The devil's worse than female dogs, so, yeah. Either way, you get what I'm saying. The devil is a girl, the fallen angel, Lucifer, as I call her Lucy. So when I refer to the devil or Satan, I refer to her as her or she, or Lucy, and that explains why. I had this revelation about 20 plus years ago. The irony in it was I was an atheist at the time. So I had this epiphany, and that's what I thought it was at the time, was an epiphany. But epiphanies are actually revelations. But when I had this epiphany, I just shrugged it off because I don't believe in God or the devil, so this is just a cool idea, but there's no point in dwelling in it or taking it seriously, so I kind of just forgot about it for some time. Just put it on the back burner as just a cool idea. But then when I started developing my relationship with God, He reminded me about it and let me know that yes, it is true. The devil is in fact a female. 2/3 female, 1/3 male. Either way, she's a girl. I'm not gonna go into it like I can because I can go on forever about it, making my points to prove that she is in fact a female. But I'm gonna leave all that for the future. For now, I just wanted to do a for the record video mentioning that she's a girl. Because as of right now, there's only about 1% of the human population that will know this is true. So just like all the other things I knew before the majority, this time I'm going to make sure to have for the record videos as my way of documenting things I already knew before the majority did. So that's why I'm doing for the record videos, so that it's documented that I was saying this shit before the majority was. And this is a big one. Because there's been a few times where I mentioned to people that the devil was a girl, and although there were different degrees of it, they all had one thing in common. It was bothersome to them. It definitely bothered people every time I mentioned it. And the biggest eye-opener for knowing that it's true was one person in specific, or one person specifically. While I was homeless, there was this one guy that I would talk to every so odd whenever he'd come by. We'd have little conversations here and there. And at one point in a conversation with this guy, I mentioned the devil as a her or she or some shit. And he was like, what do you mean her or she? And I was like, well, the devil's a female. Now, this guy I was talking to, he was an atheist. Now, atheist, and I used to be one, so I know this. When you're an atheist, you don't believe in God or the devil. So his reaction really opened my eyes to just how true this was and how difficult it was going to be for people to accept this truth. Because when I did tell him, like, yeah, the devil's a girl, he fucking looked at me bewildered as shit. He started laughing, and he was like, oh, okay, and just walked the fuck away. like a mid-conversation. He just walked away and went home. And that really opened my eyes to just how true this is, because he was clearly triggered. Now, when it comes to people being triggered, you usually don't get triggered by something that's wrong. You usually get triggered by truth that you can't handle. So he got triggered. So triggered that he left the conversation and went home. And all he could do was look bewildered and laugh about it like, oh, okay. And just laughed and walked away. Because he was so unprepared for something like that, because the Matrix hasn't programmed people to have a response to this concept, of course. Even though they will eventually after this. But either way, he was triggered by me saying the devil was a girl, the devil was a female. Now how could he be so triggered by that? When he's an atheist, like he doesn't even believe in God or the devil, so why did he take such offense to that idea that the devil's a girl? So yeah, it really opened my eyes like, oh shit, yeah, this is gonna be a problem. Telling people this is not gonna be easy. People are gonna have a real hard time dealing with this truth, and I understand it. It's not the fact that the devil's a female that's hard to accept. It's the implications. That's what's so hard to accept. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but yeah, that encounter, most of all the encounters, really let me see this is gonna be a big deal. But nonetheless, I was told by God that I was going to have to do my job, and part of that job was to mention this to the world. Like I said, there's only about 1% of the human population that knows this. You're not going to find much on it, but it's true. And I'll just leave you with one thought to kind of reinforce it on a psychological level. Just like that example I just used of the guy. If you hear me say the devil is a female, and it triggers you, it bothers you that I say the devil's a female, I ask you, why does it bother you? Either A, you're an atheist and you don't even believe in God or Satan, so why would it matter? 2, let's say you do believe in God and the devil and you are on God's side, why would you feel defensive for Satan? Why do you feel obligated to be Satan's defense lawyer and say, no, devil's not a female, that's absurd, blah, 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 blah. Why would you be so bothered at that concept, even if it wasn't true? It is true. But even if it wasn't true, why would anyone take offense to somebody else saying the devil's a girl? So I'm going to leave you with that because, again, people only get triggered at truth for the most part. So if you're being triggered by me saying the devil's a female, I want you to ask yourself, why are you triggered? Why does it bother you so much? Anywho, for the record, the devil, the fallen angel, the defeated one, Lucy, satana, whatever you want to call the cunt, she's a female. Until next time, God is good, God is great, God is wonderful. Jesus Christ is a man. He's the man. And the devil's a bitch.